This is the biggest update the editor has received yet. However, that title will be short-lived with the next build under works. Because of this, I won't go too in-depth on how to use these features, but once the editor has become more solidified, I'm planning on releasing deep dives on how to use the editor. But enough about that, let's talk about this build. As you just saw, this build now renders the majority of effects on levels. The editor now stores vertex colors, transparency, and UV animations, which can all be edited as well. This build also adds PlayStation support, which means PlayStation 1 games can now be edited and compiled. The build features a new edit mode, Shader Edit Mode, which allows for editing vertex colors. This mode works very similar to Texture Edit Mode and even has presets like in Texture Edit Mode. When selecting a tile, a window will pop up to allow us to start editing tiles' vertex colors. There are 4 types of vertex coloring, or as the editor just calls them, shaders. The first type is solid monochrome, which is the default. This is just black and white for all corners. Try to think of it like brightness. To change it, there is a slider that will change the value, or there's a text field to type in a value. Next is monochrome, which is just black and white for a selected amount of corners. Like with solid monochrome, there's a slider to change the color. Next is color, which is basically monochrome, but, not monochrome. Instead of having one slider, there are 3 for red, green, and blue. There's one more feature from the rest, and that is allowing to save colors at the bottom of the window. This allows for easy grabs. The last type is animation, which is not supported yet, so don't use it. The mapper also has these helper tools for rotating and mirroring vertex colors positioning. Moving on, there has been a ton of changes to Texture Edit Mode. Texture Edit Mode can now edit transparency and UV animations. To start editing UV animations, you would either click on an animated tile or just select the tile type on this dropdown. There are 2 types of UV animation. The first is vector animation, which will have the UVs move towards an ending position. The ending position is exactly 27 pixels in a given direction. Below the texture are sliders for changing the speed and which direction the UVs move. Note that this is a section value, meaning that changing this will apply to all vector animated tiles in the section. The next is frame animation, and as the name implies, it uses a different set of UVs, or frames. Frames can be added and removed, and below the frame timeline there is a slider for changing the animation speed. Not only can we change texture animations, but we can also edit transparency as well. FutureCop bitmaps are 16-bit XRGB. The X is to make the pixels semi-transparent. While most photo editors support XRGB, they don't allow for editing this X value. So now the UV mapper will do this instead. Bottom right of the UV mapper there's a little pencil icon. Clicking this will put the mapper in a pixel drawing-like state. Now all we need to do is click to draw semi-transparency onto the bitmap. Or we can switch it to draw opaque instead. The drawing cursor size can be changed by clicking square brackets on keyboard. Once drawing is done, hit the apply button. There's one more thing that needs to be done to make the tile transparent. Even if your tile has UVs to a semi-transparent part of the bitmap, it won't display as semi-transparent unless the tile is set as semi-transparent. To do this, there are 2 new tools in Texture Edit Mode, Make Tile Opaque and Make Tile Semi-Transparent. And there we go! Section Edit Mode has also received some changes. The majority of problems this mode faced are now fixed. UVs are now mirrored as well, allowing for much easier symmetrical map making. There is one new tool in this mode, and that is to remove shaders from a section. Lastly, as mentioned, the editor now supports PS1 missions. Well, almost. The only thing that is not supported yet is custom textures, but other than that, everything else is fully editable. For those that do end up messing with PS1 files, let me know how it goes. From what I've tested, everything seems to be working okay, but I may have missed something here or there. But anyways, thank you all for following the project, and huge thank you to Ghoster738, who has helped a ton with parsing the game files. The next build you should see from me is quality of life changes for level editing and polishes. This is to pave the way for the next major features to be implemented.